What is up, guys? My name is Brent Ruiz and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Guys, today I'm reviewing this amazing 2016 Cayman GT4 in this beautiful sapphire blue paint. Before we do go any further though, I want to give a big thanks to my friend Adrian for letting me borrow his awesome car today. Now, the best way to describe this car is by taking you guys back here and opening up the rear deck of this car and showing you, or rather not showing you, what we can see in here. Typically, we'd be able to see an engine right here, Carrera S, Turbo S, the GT3s, GT3 RSs, they would have the engine right here. But this Cayman is actually a mid-engine, so the engine is sitting right under here, hitting away. Unfortunately, we cannot see it, but that's what really makes this car an amazing and very unique driving experience compared to those other cars. Now, if you guys ask owners of GT4s why they bought this car versus something like a GT3, GT3 RS, Turbo S, it's not because they couldn't afford those other cars. It's because they particularly and specifically wanted a GT4 for the very unique and driver-focused driving experience that it gives you. Now, the owner of this car, Adrian, he used to have a Turbo S and he sold it and got a GT4. He actually has had a bunch of other cars, so he's a true car guy. But he said specifically that the Turbo S, you know, it's very fast in a straight line, but it was very heavy. It didn't really handle that well in the corners. And that is why he got the GT4. This car is much more lightweight, it's smaller, and it handles like a freaking race car when you want it to. Oh, and by the way guys, this 2016 generation of the GT4, it only came with a manual gearbox. So that really tells you guys how much of a true car enthusiast dream this GT4 is. So, I'm about to experience what all the hype is about. Got the keys right here. We're gonna take the 2016 Cayman GT4 for a drive. Alright, let's get this thing started.
What are you doing? Are you serious?
What?
Get out of here, dude! I'm driving. Oh,
come on!
Yeah. The ignition is on the left. It's a freaking Porsche. Alright guys, welcome to the 2016 Cayman GT4. This is Sarah, she's back on the channel. Hi. Since we are driving a Porsche, as you can see. So, fun fact, by the way, Porsche, the reason that they put the ignition on the left side of the steering wheel as opposed to the right, like as in pretty much every other car in the world, is because Porsche wanted to give their race car drivers, or Le Mans race car drivers, an edge. Because if you don't know, Le Mans, you have to start the race outside of the car. You have to sprint to your car. So the reason that Porsche thought this would give them an edge is because they would get in the car and be able to basically start it and put the car in first gear at the same time instead of having to do it sequentially. So it gave them like probably a few seconds advantage on their competitors.
Yeah, so any edge that they could get, that's how Porsche works. And with this GT4, you can really see how much race car and race history is inside of this car, because this thing drives like a freaking race car. So 385 horsepower in here, powered by a 3.8 liter flat six, of course. In this car, you really have to keep it up in the rev range at the very last 2000 to really enjoy its full power bound, right?
Yeah, definitely. This car on the lower gears, if you're not high in the revs, it feels pretty slow, if I'm being very honest.
If you have a fast car, like a turbocharged car, for example, and you enjoy that torque at the very bottom range of it, this car is not going to offer you that whatsoever. This has a totally different driving style that you really have to adapt to. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, the thing that really separates this car from like all the other 911s is the fact that it's a mid-engine. It's not a rear engine car. And that really helps this car perform incredibly well, especially on roads like this. Now, talk to me about the grip. You mentioned that you had to get the tires warmed up at least to really start to get more confidence in this car, right, Sarah?
Definitely. This car is like, it's a beast that you have to tame. So when you first get in, it's like you need to get confidence in the car. I drove it first, like on a curvy road like that, and it was not too warm yet. And I got a little drifting in one of the turns. It was nothing bad, but I could tell that I needed a little bit of time to get used to it, to get the car warmed up before I could really trust it.
But once they are warmed up and once you are driving the car like this, it is an absolute blast. It's an absolutely amazing driving car, and that is the reason that GT4 owners buy this car. And that is why a lot of those GT4 owners take this car to the track. Suspension wise, this suspension, they make it so adjustable from the factory, so you can take the car to the track and adjust the camber, whatever else suspension wise that you may wish, to really get it driving the way that you want it. So we have it on the aggressive suspension mode here, and in terms of the ride quality, what would you say in comparison to the other GT cars that you've driven?
I think it's actually stiffer than most of the other Porsche that I've driven. It helps a lot on this handling. It just makes it even more perfect.
Yeah, you can feel the road a lot more, right? And know what the car is doing at all times.
Exactly, like it really makes you feel like one with the car. It's just amazing.
Dang, yeah, you can really feel how the torque kicks in. Not until you get to the top of the rev range. It's such a weird feeling because these gears are actually really, really long. I think we were hitting like 75 miles per hour at the top of second gear, maybe even 80, right?
Yes, that second gear is so long. Like, as you've seen probably when I was driving in that canyon, I don't think I really shifted that much. I was in like, second pretty much the entire way, and that's where you actually get to like the 6,000-7,000 range where you really can enjoy the power of this car.
A lot of people don't like it for that reason, because it just feels like you're in the same gear forever. But when you do reach the top of the gear that you're in, you can really feel the torque that this car has, and it's only rated at 309 pound-feet of torque, guys. It's not much, but when you're there, it feels amazing. Now let's talk about the sound, because when you're able, or when you pretty much have to rev it out at the top of every gear, this sounds absolutely amazing. This car, oh my god, it's actually pretty loud on the outside, and inside here you don't really get much drone. It sounds pretty good, but man, hearing this car on the outside when it's doing a flyby past you, when it's just revving up, this sounds really, really good. Ooh, those rev match blips, that's something to talk about for sure in this car, because when you have it in sport mode, it automatically rev matches for you. This is a 6-speed manual gearbox. That is not supposed to happen, but I guess for the pure enjoyment of the whole, the sound experience of this car,
I really love it. Honestly, it's like, I know you can do it, but when you're driving like that, it's one less thing to worry about, and you still, hear it and enjoy it, and it's perfect.
All right, so the rev matching blips are pretty freaking awesome, but let's talk about the transmission itself. The gearbox, the short shifter, how does it actually feel to go through the gears?
I really love that short shifter. It helps a lot. Obviously, it makes everything faster. It makes you go faster, right?
And the clutch pedal, does that limit you? Like, I heard it's pretty heavy.
It is very heavy. Honestly, when you first, press that pedal, you're like, wow, like I really need to push that really hard. But once you're actually driving it, it's just part of the entire experience, and it just feels, it feels good. It matches the feeling of the car itself.
Speaking of speed, this car, it's only 385 horsepower. Is it still too slow, or is it just enough?
I think, honestly, the reason why you buy this car is for how it handles on the roads like this. And I don't need it to be faster. It's fast enough to scare me.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely enough power to have fun to do this on these roads. On a straight line, yes, it's not the fastest. You might miss, that torque on the lower gears.
Yeah. But I gotta say that, like, we've been on a bunch of cruises, canyon drives with supercars, and I remember that there's a lot of great drivers that own this car, and a lot of times they're at the front of the pack, leaving everyone in the dust because they know how to drive this car. If you buy this car, it's for a reason. You're usually going to be a really great driver, and that is the type of person that this car is for. Now, speaking of if it might be too slow and whatnot, the 2020 version of this car, the 718 Cayman GT4, they've added a little bit more power. Although the torque figure remains the same, the horsepower is now up at 414 horsepower. The 0 to 60 time on this 2016 is 4.4. Honestly, it's pretty slow, right? It's up to 4.2 now in 2020. Do you think those small improvements are going to give owners of this car a little bit more thrill?
Honestly, I'm not sure how big is the difference it's gonna make. If the gears are still as long as it is right now, you're still gonna have to be very high on the revs to get that. So
same torque,
the power difference is not gonna make that huge difference. The torque is the same, so some people might be happy to see the number go up, but I'm not sure if the driving experience is gonna be very different.
Yeah. And Porsche also increased the displacement of the motor in the 2020. It's up to 4 liters now, and that combined with the other little improvements, obviously Porsche had to make some kind of improvement, some kind of gain if they're releasing a new or newish model of the GT4. So we just got to a little straightaway here. Let's see what this thing can do in a straight line. Yeah, that's such a crazy sensation how the gears are so long, and then it's not until the very end you really feel the power coming. Dude.
Oh, that feels so good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think if we were taking those turns with the tires not warmed up yet, well, might not be on the road currently, but
right?
It's like a go-kart, right? Like, this is crazy.
It's so small and light that it just...
Yeah, you just throw it in and it just somehow does it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it does it, how it's so fast in the turns, how it handles so well, but it's just...
It has grip for days. Oh my god. This is literally like the perfect road for this car as well. I'm so happy that we have this road, and it's like 10 minutes away from our house.
You can feel the back that wants to, get out of this line. And I think that's actually this mid-engine that, even if the back feels like it wants to go, the engine being in the middle really rebalances the car perfectly.
Something we haven't talked about yet are the brakes. Now, this car is actually optioned with, it's not optioned with the ceramic brakes. It has the standard steel brakes. Are they enough? I think they would be, since this is a lighter car, not that much power.
Yeah, honestly, on all the cars, I feel like I miss the ceramic brakes. On this car, I have no issue. They're really $85,000 option is necessary.
Just open the window a little bit. Let's see if we can get any more sound from the amazing exhaust of this car. Ooh, for a stock exhaust, it sounds good. Holy crap, you're insane. Guys, so I hope you enjoyed that little canyon drive. This car handles absolutely amazingly, and I cannot believe the grip levels that it has going through some of those turns. I wasn't sure she was going to make the turn, but this car handled it very well. Moving on to some more standard roads here, so let's just actually put the exhaust button off. So we can put the valves on, maybe get it a little bit quieter in here. Maybe we'll put the comfort mode on suspension. And let's talk about the options of this car, the interior spec, the exterior spec as well. Right here, this is the actual window sticker of this car. So base price of the 2016 GT4s was about $85,000. So when I get to the bottom of the options list here, we have a total price of $106,000, which is one of the higher spec GT4s that you can get. It does not have the ceramic brake option. It does not have the 918 bucket seat option, which would be pretty cool in this car, especially if you're doing a lot of track duty in this thing. And it doesn't have the chrono package either, but pretty much everything else it has. And I gotta say, the interior spec in this car is really cool. All the Alcantara, just everything in here is race car inspired. The carbon fiber accents everywhere in here. I gotta say that I love the spec of this car, especially with that racing yellow stitching offsetting all of the black.
The owner of this car actually added this custom steering wheel, which looks absolutely amazing. It has carbon fiber everywhere. It has the matching yellow stitching. As a personal preference, I like the Alcantara feel of the steering wheel, so you don't get the kind of sticky hands.
Yeah, especially if you're driving this car hard, you're gonna sweat a lot. And I do also prefer an Alcantara's steering wheel as opposed to leather like that, because, well, it just does a lot better when you're really sweating a lot. And I know a lot of race car drivers, they'll wear gloves, which is an even better combination with the feel of the Alcantara. So another thing that's race car inspired in here are these door pulls. No, you don't get door handles in this thing. We gotta save as much weight as possible, so we gotta put these cloth feeling door pulls to open your door. So that's pretty cool, and you'll find that in a lot of other Porsches as well. But yeah, just gotta say that all the Alcantara in here, combined with all the carbon fiber accents, even this area here with the cup holders. I love the cup holder system in this car, but the weight in this car is even better because it's covered with carbon fiber, glossy carbon fiber, which is looking absolutely awesome. All right, guys, so final thoughts. Sarah, you've been driving this car like a maniac, by the way. I assume you've really enjoyed your time with this, but the one question I do want to ask you, your dream car is a GT3 RS. Would you consider getting this car instead of a GT3 RS at all?
I can't say that I wouldn't consider it, but
maybe as a stopgap car.
yes. So my next car won't be the GT3 RS, not right now. So as a step car, yes, like it feels amazing. It drives incredibly, probably one of the best handling cars that I've ever driven in my life. But I would like my Porsche to be my daily driver, and I have to say the fact that the power is lower, that would probably be an issue for me to drive it every day. I would totally have this car in my garage for the track days, for like the canyon drives. Like I would totally take it without hesitation. But if I have to choose the daily driver, the GT3 RS is the best of both worlds. So you basically get a car that handles amazingly, probably very close or better than this one still, because it has the wing and it has, you know, suspension. It's very low have to say I'm sorry, but the GT3 RS is still my dream car, and I would still choose it over this car, no matter how amazing this car is.
That was an absolute blast. Oh my god, this car is amazing in those roads. Holy crap, and then Sarah drove the freaking tires off this car. Oh my god. So after driving this car and driving the friggin' tires off this car, Sarah, is this like the best handling car you've ever driven?
It's really hard to tell, especially with the GT3 RS. I don't know if I can say it's better. It's definitely amazing, like awesome. It's everything you can ask for, and for the value of the car, for the price of this car, it's definitely the best you can get on the market. There's no way you can find something better than this.
I think that's the main point to be made. At an MSRP before options price of $85,000 for this thing, and the way that it drove, the way that it just destroyed those roads that we drove this car on right now, definitely one of the best values out there. So again, Adrian, thank you so much for letting us do this. And if you guys enjoyed watching this video today, please give this video a big fat like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. So for me and for Sarah, we'll see you all very soon. Deuces!